I'm flattered that Wes asked me to speak today, and I think one of the things is that from a management perspective, you never, or a leadership role as I'm going to call it because, Rick and I talked about it, there's a lot of things you never get included in. You go to the coaches symposium at the NHL level, and that's the main focus for the coaches going to the draft. For management, it's more of a schmoozing type of deal. We go there, we talk, and you almost feel from a management perspective that we're bothering the NHL guys. So you don't want to bother them. You don't go, then you don't get involved in the conferences, and I think professional development's important. So Belzy, if you run the floor across the blue line face off, and Wes will fall for it, hopefully you took notes. If I see that, don't make me have to do this. Anyway, when our season was finished following the Memorial Cup, I don't really remember too much about the Memorial Cup, to be honest with you. I was sour, and I wanted to play this clip because I think there was a lot of things as I go through what we do as how you build a championship team. A lot of things happen throughout this video, and I'll stop it as soon as you see Darce and the clip. I think one of the things that you don't realize that setbacks are actually your step forward, and how do you learn to win? And I think we got collectively better as an organization each year. And if you just go to the next slide, I say every championship team or organization has three components. You have the leadership or the guy with which I would consider myself. I'm the leader as general manager. I'm put in a position where I have to go out and I have to recruit what I feel is the most important component, and that's you guys, the coaches. And I think without you guys as the coaches, I think we're in trouble. The third component is the team. So from there, I think the leader determines the vision of the team, establishes the core values that the team will operate by. And I think one of the things when you're operating, it doesn't matter if it's a novice house league team or whether it's a midget AAA team or a junior B team. I think you have to look at what your core values are and what your vision is for your hockey team. What do you want to accomplish? If you go in and you don't really have an idea of what you want to accomplish and you don't have a vision, then you're in trouble. My core values, first and foremost for me, is integrity and honesty. I deal every day in the business like that. I always say to people, when I go to the arena, I don't want to have to go to the arena and hide. I don't want to have to say, oh, gee, there's Frank Gurney. Oh, I have the son on my team. I can't look over there. I've got to walk the other way. If I know that we do everything the right way for the right reason, it's not always easy, then I can feel good about myself. I'm hardworking. I'm relentless. When I want to find a player, or I know I have to find a player, I'm going to turn every stone over. I expect that from my staff and my coaching staff. And that's one of the things that's refreshing, is that this year, not only did I have who I deemed a very good Ontario Hockey League coach, and hopefully he's able to get that same level at the NHL level with Philadelphia, but I had a hardworking staff as well. And I think each one of us kind of, if one of us worked harder than the other guy, we were always trying to work. I always say to the coaches, or you can't ask the players to work harder than you do. Or can't say to them, hey, you're not working hard enough, you're not working hard enough. And then they turn to look at you and, Dave talked about preparation. If you're not prepared, you come to the rink, you can't expect them to be there. You have to be understanding, you have to be compassionate, open-minded. Open-minded is what you guys are here today. You're open-minded because you're here, you want to learn, you want to get to the next level, you want to get your players to that next level, and I think that's important. And the other part is, truthfully, I didn't find Alex Brinkett. My scouts found him. We helped manipulate him, and if you hear Sherry Basson tell you, he found him. He was the guy that found him, but you have to be a little bit selfless. Building the team within the team is the most important component. And I talked about, the coaches, the coaching staff. For us, we always, in 4 years, we went 50 games. We went through several different assistant coaches through the course of our time, and bringing Wes in was a huge component for us. It really, whether it was B.J. Adams or Chris Hartsburg or Jay McKee or Vince Lace, kind of getting those right people in the right places and getting the best people possible was really important. Your training staff, your support staff, those are the people who interact with the players on a daily basis, and they carry your culture. And I'll talk about culture. I know, we've talked about it and everything else, but every championship team is built around strong people. And I think in hockey, it's funny because you don't think of it as a business. You think, well, it's different. It's not the same. And this next guy is pretty successful. He was pretty successful in his time, and he talks about what made his company successful, and it's no different than hockey.
Yes. You've got to be a really good talent scout, because no matter how smart you are, you need a team of great people, and you've got to figure out how to size people up fairly quickly, make decisions without knowing people too well, and hire them, and see how you do and refine your intuition, and be able to help build an organization that can eventually just build itself, because you need great people around you.
It's funny, my son, who's a 2000, was a terrible hockey player, and I told him right from the get-go, listen, you're not going to be a hockey player, so I don't care what you think my job is, your chance is zero. So move on to other things. He always says, he goes, Dad, he goes, what's your job? I said, my job is I have about 15 seconds to go in, analyze the situation, and determine whether that person is going to be good for me and my organization. Because when I say me, I mean my team and the group that I have behind me. So I always and he's like, no, you're in hockey. I'm like, no. My job is to make sure I can go in, evaluate the situation, evaluate quickly. I knew within 5 seconds of sitting down with Wes at the Throwstone Tim Hortons last summer that he was 100% going to be our guy. 100%. We were so close to hiring a guy. It was a Sunday night. Frank Gurney called me and he said, listen, are the applications closed? I said, they're not closed. But you better tell whoever you have in your head to get his information in tonight, because I know tomorrow it's, so Frank phoned Wes. Wes sent his stuff in. Before you know it, Wes is in. I'm phoning it's kind of ironic. I phoned the coaches, BJ and Chris, who I'm sure they were sitting with their shoes and socks off and their feet up on the table, because that's what you guys do as coaches, but as GMs, work so hard. And I said to those guys, I said, listen, I've got a guy that I'm going to forward you the resume. And I said, Pete, you may know this guy. And he's like, oh yeah, how would I know him? Can-Am and everything else. Ironically, BJ was telling Chris Knobloch that he knew of a guy, and that guy was Wes. So it all kind of came together, but within 5 seconds of sitting with Wes, I knew that we were onto the right track. So as a management, my job is to establish the core values, put in the processes, and put together the expectations of what the organization is going to be. The coaching staff is to establish the culture, desired style of play, and the player expectations. And then I think that from there you have to start to work together once that's all put into place. In next slide there, Wes, is you know, the next kind of idea is making sure that you've got, you know, some cohesiveness in the group. But Lou Lamorello, quick clip. You guys are a lot of Leaf fans, and nobody. I mean, it's funny we talk about Leafs and championship in the same word, you know, sentence and everything else. But kind of a real neat clip that I found off of one of their programs. I forget what it's, the Blueprint, I think it was. He talks about, you know, Mike Babcock and what he brings to the Leafs. So.
Mike Babcock signing to me was ingenious of Brendan doing that. It's exactly what personally I felt was needed here. Somebody of his persistency and dedication. You know, he's a driven person in a very positive way. His players follow what they feel. What they feel is a tremendous tenacity to succeed.
In that, there's a lot of, he uses a lot of words that I would define, you know, with championship teams. And when he talks about Mike Babcock, and you look at the success the Leafs have had in kind of rebuilding their program and establishing their culture, and I think that's something that's important. But ensuring your staff is aligned. I talked about, you know, firstly that, you know, everyone's accountable. They understand the process and they're aligned in the process. You should all share common goals, and more importantly, you have organizational synergy. And I think, you know, when we sit down at the beginning of the year and we say to Chris Knobloch, how do you want to play? I already know how I kind of want to play, so I kind of, you know, professional development, so I kind of say to him, Chris, how do you really want to play? He tells me what I want to hear. And then, but at the end of the day, we have to know from a management team the type of player that he wants. So we have to go out there, we have to say to him, okay, Chris, what is it that you think is a hard worker? Determine a guy that's hard to play against. The things that he came up with, he wanted to play the game with pace. He wanted to be skilled, and he wanted to be hard to play against pace and skill. And we had to get definition from him, because what I didn't want to happen is in October, when we, you know, middle of October, and something happens and it's going, you know, things aren't going the way we wanted them to go. I don't want him to say to me, hey, listen, you got to get another guy. This guy's not good enough. This guy can't do what I want. This guy can't. Because in our game, as far as I'm concerned, organizationally, I want to build within. I know the types of players from a character standpoint that we want to go and get. I think it's important that we develop our own guys. And I think that's important. Organizational synergy is important. Making sure that everybody understands the processes. This guy's got some unbelievable books when we talk about books and everything else. And this is when he got hired by the Cubs. Personally, I mean, they built the shovel here. But anyway, it's great.
Common ground, commonality regarding philosophy. And that's what it comes down to. I mean, you could ask me a lot of questions in a couple minutes, and I'm happy to answer them all. But at the end of the day, unless we're aligned perfectly, it's not going to work. It just can't work. That's the way the game has evolved to this point. The autocratic manager of the days of yesteryear are gone. It's not just about one guy anymore. It used to be about one guy. When a manager left an organization, went to another one, everything would change. Everything would change. And I always thought that was inappropriate. And I worked for some really good managers with the Angels for a long time, and then of course I worked with a very good manager in Tampa Bay. He was pretty solid. Where he gets it, okay. So I mean, I've been doing it for a while. Worked with a lot of good people, and I know that the synergy between front office and the field today, in today's game, is really, really that important. And it's always going to be. It's going to get even more important. So to be philosophically aligned with these guys from Jump Street was important to me, and we are, and we talk about stuff already. It's so common, it's so easy. We had a great dinner last night with the Ricketts family, and it was really easy to sit.
When I showed that clip at the beginning, I said I'd come back to it. And one of the things was that how my players felt or their body language on the ice was how I felt that day, and how I felt right up until seeing that clip for the first time this week and putting that clip together. I felt that way. I looked at Chris's face. You look at Chris, he was the guy that, you know, he's not a raw guy, but he's also not, you know, you can tell in his body language that he was completely disappointed. And then we stopped, and just as they showed two fans up in the stands, and that girl was our receptionist. And I mean, I think her probably emotion at that time was something that, you know, she was completely, you know, she was crying and very upset. And I think that kind of hit home to me that, you know what, hey, we do have organizational synergy. We do have buy-in, right, from the person who greets the fan when they come in to buy their tickets, or the person that wants to, you know, that's going to meet you at the arena. And I thought that was important. Aligning the team, deciding the style of play, understanding what the player types are, and the types are that will be required to play that style, establishing the process in which you'll implement these and try to find these players as imperatives. So kind of talked about it already. What does it create? Well, it creates a culture. I think we talked about culture being the buzzword. Culture is, you know, is the social behavior and norms found in human societies. To me, in sports, it's the operation, the way we carry ourselves, and meet and set out our expectations. Great championship organizations and teams, you may not win a ton of championships, and I don't know if championships are measured based on, you know, Stanley Cups or anything like that, but they are definitely measured in whether you attain your goals. And I think this next clip, so culture, I'll talk about it. You flip one ahead, play it, and then go back. Yeah.
We talked a lot in the past weeks about pride and professionalism despite the standings. Is that even more so the case once you're officially eliminated?
Well, I think we've all known we're in a tough spot here, and our focus is 100% been and will continue to be on making sure that this is a one-time deal, not an 8, 9, 10-time deal. And how you do that by making sure you maintain a culture that's allowed that streak to continue for a long time. Work ethic, attention to detail, selflessness, competitiveness. We got to make sure that's there every single night. You can't let it slip whatsoever. Once you let it slip, it's hard to get back. There's a lot of organizations around the league that will attest to that. We're going to make sure it doesn't slip.
Jeff Blashill, I mean, he pretty much sums it up there. He's talking about a team that's never made or missed the playoffs in how many years, and this was the first year they didn't make the playoffs. And I think from you know, not only is he a good friend of mine, and everyone thinks he tries to be like Mike Babcock in terms of his vocabulary or how he sounds. That's actually how he sounds, but ironically they just morph together. He's in a tough situation because there it becomes, you know, as coaches, you guys can only deal with what you have. And I think a lot of times, you know, as management people, we kind of pull out, kind of say, hey, not our fault, not, you know what I mean, we get out of there. But you have what you have there. I mean, in terms of, you know, the players he has to implement the systems he has and whatever else. But culture for us is how you deal with your players, how you scout, how you develop your players. And I say that because to me, development is huge. I want to develop within. I know what I have. I say to our players, when they're drafted, you become an Erie Otter, I don't care if you're the first pick or you're the 15th pick or you're a free agent player. You're all equally as important. We've tried to emulate as much within our organization as to what they do at the NHL level, and that means bringing people in on a player development role, having them engaging with our practices and with our coaching staff, and I think it's something that, you know, we're trying to do. So making sure that, you know, you develop your players is monumental. How you play those players. If you say to him, well, that guy can't play, he's on my fourth line, and you're not open to changing, he'll always be on your fourth line. I like to play everybody. I mean, in terms there's certain situations where you have to pull guys back in, everything else. But I have a thing that, you know what, if you're willing to allow that kid to be great, he'll rise to the occasion. But he has to know, and it's been alluded to already, he has to know that you believe in him. Because if he knows that you don't believe, he's done. He's done. You can't get his buy-in anymore. So you need his buy-in. You know, what sacrifices are you willing to make? You know, because there's sacrifices you have to make. Maybe the system you're putting into place doesn't work for the players that you have. Maybe their skill level is not high. And I think you kind of, you have to kind of work around that. When building the team, there are many attributes a player needs to possess. They have to have skill, they have to have leadership, they have to compete, and have work ethic. If I bring you a player that's highly, highly, highly skilled and has no work ethic, I guarantee you within the first 30 days of him being there within the team, I'm going to get a call from the coach. This guy doesn't work hard at practice. He doesn't work hard at off-ice training. He doesn't, he's late. You have to compete. You have to have work ethic. It's monumental. And you have to be a great person. And those people that you have, they have to be aligned with your core values. And it's a hard thing. We send out scout questionnaires to the coaches at the minor midget level. There's not a lot of asking about, hey, Jason, do you think, your goalie is a good goalie? Or that's for us to determine. But now we have to collect data on whether he's a good player, a good person. What's he like at practice? Does he work hard at practice? Give him a rating 1 to 5. What's his practice habits? 1 to 5. What's his off-ice work habits? We want to know those things. There is a direct correlation that we tell our guys when we bring them in for your work ethic at school to on the ice. Guys that don't work hard in school aren't going to work hard on the ice. Over time, their skill may just supersede everything else, and they may be more skilled than everyone else. But a work habit is a work habit, and that's what we tell our guys. This guy, big time basketball program, and he hits on a lot of things. And I wasn't sure if I was going to add it in, but I thought it was pretty important. So.
We try to teach our players not just how to be basketball players, but to be men. Things like when you talk to each other, you look each other in the eye. You always tell each other the truth. You come ready to work every day. Be trustworthy, dependable, and to make sure that everyone who's associated with your program and who you're working with feels important. They feel part of your process. Where you don't try to do it alone. Your teamwork is going to get you ahead, not by doing things alone. The leader has to be honest and be yourself.
So, once you've identified the types of players that you have and that sort of thing, you end up what I call, this is kind of my own theory, you have culture creators and culture carriers. Your culture can be forever changing and improving. I mean, that's part of everything you do. But your culture carriers, they're important. I talked to a parent this week about our team, and he said to me, well, how do you think he is? Do you think he's old, he's got great leadership? And he does, but he's a carrier. He will carry our culture. And one of the things that we put on the inside of our door was a little slogan so that our guys understood that whenever they left that rink, there's a job that they have to do to carry on what the guys before them have created for them. And I think, then you have culture creators. We were blessed to have a guy like Connor McDavid come in, 5 years ago as a 15-year-old kid. And that gave us an absolute huge jump start to getting to where we wanted to get to. And I think he was a culture creator. He created a culture that allowed Chris Knobloch, but the rest of us to sit back and watch a guy that was ultra creative. He did things in practice where we were just kind of like, did he just do do that? Did he just do that? And things happen, and you'd be in awe. But what was better was how he carried himself, how he never turned down an autograph, how he never turned down, how a public appearance or that sort of thing. He created a culture that everybody else around him saw and said, hey, I have to do, if he can do it, I can do it. And then everybody kind of bought in. So we were blessed to be able to have him. We also had other guys, whether it had been Connor Brown or Adam Pellick or some of those other guys that we had. And, we took the perfect storm, and 50-win seasons later, we finally got something that we want to continue to roll around. But as a coach, I mean, this is kind of off topic in building a championship team, but you guys have the responsibility to be a great person and a great leader. You guys, I think sometimes as coaches, we lose the fact that you have a direct impact on those players, and the players, whether they be 8 years old, 6 years old, 15 years old, or 20 years old. And there's no shortcuts to success. And if it was easy, we'd all be winning championships. And although my team didn't win a Memorial Cup, I feel blessed to have worked with those guys for the last 4 years, and I think we put out a lot of championship people, and I'm proud of that. But this was a guy, I don't know if anybody's seen Coach Deegs from Sam Houston State. These guys were just most recently in the NCAA World Series regional, sub-regional. And here's kind of, I'm going to play 2 clips. This is the clip of his players and what his players think of Coach Deegs. And I thought it was important because I think there's so many times that you guys as coaches, you really don't know what your players think. And there's going to be guys that aren't going to like you. There's a lot more guys that do like you and make a direct impact on their lives. I think it's important. But this is a pretty telling.
Bro, you're a guy that's got to take it a couple different routes to get here. And Coach always talks about what you guys mean to him. But in a season like this, where he's at the core, what does Coach mean to you guys?
He means the world. I mean, me and him and Lance could all say that without Coach Diggs, we're a student at a university. We're not playing baseball anymore. We always believe in giving a guy a second chance, and that's what he gave all 3 of us, a second chance. But he means the world. I know he's gonna see my kids in the future. He's gonna be at my wedding. He'll be there with us for the rest of our lives, and it's a great feeling knowing that he's there for you no matter what.
I'm going to talk on that for a second, if you guys don't mind. He's the most humble guy I've ever met in my life, and he has every reason not to be. What he's done in college baseball, the route he's chosen, the route God has chosen for him, it's been up and down, and every single day, this dude drives the train, and you'll never hear him talk about himself. Talks about other guys, talks guys up that probably don't deserve to be talked up, but he does it because he understands. He understands life. He understands that we're young men, 18 to 23-year-old men that are at a crucial point in their lives, who leave their parents. Their parents send them off to go, say hello to their new dad. And, he'll get on to you and he'll get on to us, but what he does, the way he handles a ball club, and what he's done for Sam Houston State, I mean, I could talk for 10 minutes right now about it, and you'll never hear him talk about it. But I just want everybody to know what he means to us as players. I'm sure,
So that's his players and what they think of, him as a coach. And I think this next clip is more, I think, you can tie it in because you guys have a really tough situation, and then you, not only are you coaching, but you're managing 16, well, in most cases, 32 in local families and everything else. Now you're even talking larger numbers, but parents. And I thought, sometimes if you hide behind what you're, if you more drive on and hit them head to head, I think it's important. This was they get beat 19-0 by Florida State, and he goes out to the parking lot. You can see it's like an impromptu kind of meeting amongst the parents. And here's what he had to say, and I thought it was pretty.
So where we're at, went down about you guys. This is a very, and I just spoke on it in there, this is a very entitled society right now. And you guys raised workers. You guys raised kids that are accountable. And all they did from day one was come in, punch the time card, do what they were told, be a great teammate, go to class, and love their team. And you guys' guidance did that. We are very, very blessed to have had your son in our life. I just said it in there, and I mean it 100%. I have always needed those guys way more than they need me. They keep me where I need to be. And so, Mom and Dad, supporters, we love y'all, and we're so very thankful for y'all. I know we lost. You can lose 19-0, and hey, at least it is for 20. You can lose 19-0, or you can lose 3-2. Guess what? We ain't going to Nebraska. All right? So there ain't nothing to hold our head down about. All the fun is in the destination. It's not in the ultimate journey. You can take any trip you want to take with your boys, and the entire amount of fun is in the car ride getting there or the truck ride getting there. That's where all the fun's at. And the amount of fun that we have had over the last 2 years will fill up 2 lifetimes. And I feel like we've made relationships that are going to last forever. This is pretty special that y'all would stick around, because I'm going to tell you what goes on in most programs is this right now. There ain't no finger pointers here. It's just a family. It is what it is. Might be dysfunctional at times. So what? Those are the best ones. So we love you guys. We appreciate your support, and I can promise you this: we will be back.
Well, that was a pretty special clip, only because it kind of ties in everything. Obviously, he's created a culture at Sam Houston State. He believes in how he's done it. You know, he talks about finger pointing, and I think you can all think back to a time, maybe your last game or a championship game through a tournament where, you know, the outcome's not what you wanted. And it is true. We're in a society now where there is a lot of finger pointing, and we want immediate success. We're not really willing. You guys have a very tough, you know, position. I think if you stick to, you know, try to, you know, surround yourself with as many good people as possible, good things can happen. Because I can tell you, I sit back and I look, and, you know, especially when I go sit in with the coaches, I would never tell them that, but I go sit in with the coaches sometimes and I say, oh, I don't know shit. These guys are way beyond my needs. But, you know, at the end of the day, if I surround myself with enough good people, whether that be my head scout, you know, my athletic therapist, my manager, I can look like a genius, because I can allow their success. I can ride off their success, and I think maybe they think the same thing too. And I think collectively as a group, I think things like today, I think are important. I think if you continue to grow, eventually you will get there. And my path is no different, and is very similar to, say, Wes's, or, you know, I was coaching midget hockey, and I soon found out that, you know, through midget hockey at the AAA level, I really didn't know very much in terms of coaching. My passion was over the top. I was taking bench minors because I would yell at the referee when, you know, I'd get my team all worked up, and they would take a bad penalty, and I thought, you know what, I got to get out of this. I want to stay in hockey, but what do I do? So I went into management, and, you know, I got away from being that verbal, you know, guy on the bench that would go crazy. Now I sit up in this, way up in the rafters. Wes will tell you, you can hear me. I give it to the rest pretty good. They don't know where it's coming from, because they can't see me. So anyway, I want to thank all you guys today for being here, because I think it's important. I think that, you know, to Wes,